Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Thank you for joining us on the Horse Talk Show this week, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I just want to do a very quick thank you to Betsy Mabakwa here from Larson Hay. I ran into her today, you wouldn't believe it. I ran into her at lunchtime, and of course she had a dog in her arms that she was trying to abscond with from these people. And this is Romeo here with Betsy.
Romeo.
And I had just spoken to my co-host and dear friend, Dancing Pete Roeder, and he was trying to come in and do the show today, bless him, and he's determined, and I told him to rest because he hasn't been very well the last week or so. He's recovering, but still got a little bit of a tickly cough, and well, you know, we didn't really want him coughing on air, but we miss you, Pete.
We do miss you.
We love the fact that Betsy's here to fill in for you and that she jumped in just in the nick of time. It was a perfect run. I said, by the way, you're doing the show tonight. She said, what?
Hope you're watching, Pete.
Yeah, I said, I'll see you.
I hope I hold up my end for you, my friend.
Oh, well, you say Idaho's finest alfalfa very well.
I got that.
You've even got the Larson Hay shirt on.
Yeah.
So that was great timing. But we have a wonderful lineup for you. We have Dr. Adam Kayot will be with us. He's going to be talking about itchy skin, which, you know, we're getting into that time of year when we have to deal with that itchy skin with our horses, especially in Florida. Then we have a wonderful guest here, Jessica Braswell, and she is going to talk about a very phenomenal championship event that's happening at WEC this week, and that is the NCEA. You'll have to stay tuned in to find out what that stands for and what all that means. And then we have a couple of wonderful segments with the one and only Chris Cox, Pete and I.
Oh,
so you'll see
wow.
Pete still this week.
You will see Pete. He's always here with us.
Yes. And then phenomenal Seminole Feed event celebrating 90 years. How awesome is that?
90 years.
Can you believe that?
Under the same ownership and family.
Yes.
And what a family it is.
I know.
Yeah.
And
what a great
feed.
company.
They
great
are.
company.
They're wonderful. Wonderful folks.
They do
Love
a
'em.
lot for our community also.
They do indeed.
Oof.
We love you, Seminole.
Yep.
So we're going to share a little clip. Sorry about the sound on the clip. Unfortunately, I didn't have Isaac with me, and, you know, I'm not great with all that techie stuff. But anyway, it's good enough to hear what he has to say, and I love what he had to say. We're going to share that with you later. Olympian, heading to the Olympics, I should say, Julio Mendoza, who I met at the Seminole Feed event, and he's a Seminole-sponsored rider, so we're going to share that with you. But let's run to a few things that have happened this week we want to share with you. Wonderful event at the Ocala Farm Ministry this past Sunday. They did their big fundraiser, and I think they were up over 80,000 plus.
Gosh.
And so thankful because they take care of the people who take care of the horses.
Pastor Bob.
Yep. Not just at the racetrack either. All the people and all the farms, whether they're at WEC or they're at...
Look what a beautiful job they did
lovely?
turning out
Isn't that
fantastic
fantastic?
Event.
Wonderful fundraiser.
They had the silent auction.
They did, and I want to
Look
say
how
another shout out there
beautiful.
for Larson Hay for giving them $1,500 certificates for hay.
Larson Hay's very happy to help our
And there's
community.
my Derby hats.
Oh my gosh.
We threw them into the Derby package.
Oh my word.
You know, so that was wonderful. So if you don't, so hats off to the Ocala Farm Ministry. And if you don't know what the Ocala Farm Ministry is, check them out and please try to help support them because they really do take care of the people who take care of the horses. So I want to do a shout out to my new neighbor, and well, she's not my new neighbor, she's actually my neighbor, but she's my new friend, Pam, who is an absolute blessing to me. I know she listens to the show, and I want to thank her because she has come alongside and been such a support for me and ridden with me. And we've got Flynn out on the trails, my Mustang, and he's actually only been on the trails 2 or 3 times at most.
He looks like he needs a few more trail rides. He looks pretty healthy there,
He
Louisa.
does. I did tell Pam, I said he needs to get fit after we'd ridden a few
Oh,
miles. But we went down to the Ocklawaha River and played around in there and rode through it and splashed around and had a good old time. So I just want to say, Pam, if you're listening, I love you to bits. I'm so thankful you're my neighbor, and I'm so thankful that you're getting me out and making me do this. And riding through the National Forest this past weekend was just absolute bliss. And anyway, hashtag living my best life 2024, right?
It's good for your soul.
It
Good
is
for your
indeed.
soul, Louisa.
Quick mention again for the Equi First Aid that's coming up at Midnight Rose Equestrian on May the 12th. Pete's not here, so you have to say, because you're their first responder.
I'm not reading correctly. Yes, you are.
You are. You ready for your horse emergency for only $99? You can go to Midnight Rose Equestrian May 12th in Citra from 10 to 2 and learn all the important things you need to know as far as colic detection, vital signs, bandaging, injuries, and all that good stuff. And that is in conjunction with Equi Cool Down. Wonderful products they are.
I met that woman.
Isn't she lovely?
Christian?
Yes.
Christiana.
Yes, she's lovely.
She is a lovely woman with a great product.
She really is.
She is.
Yes,
Yep.
we hope you're listening, Christiana. We love you. She
Yep.
actually bought my farm in Citra, by the way.
She told me that.
I know, isn't that great?
Yeah.
There's some wonderful Pasofino events happening. If you're listening on the Sky 97.3, Saturday morning the 20th, hurry up and get there. This is the Pasofino Spring Festival at United Pasofino, and it is a fundraising event for an amazing cause, Canines for Warriors. This is at 3600 Southeast Highway 42 in Summerfield. Free admission. You can ride a Pasofino, food trucks and vendors, speakers throughout the day, watch Passos in action, face painting for children, fun for the whole family, and you need to
April
get down there.
20th, 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Now,
Beautiful.
my family, the Suarez family, Javier, is a big part of the Pasofino world, so this will be a great thing for anybody that wants to learn more about the breed and go out and have a great day and go kiss a really great horse or
I
two.
know, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
First time I ever rode one, I was in love, and then I showed one, and I mean, it was just an amazing experience.
Yep.
And I tell you, I don't want to offend anybody else from any other breeds or disciplines, but
No.
I have never been around a group of people like the Pasofino people as far as welcoming you into their world, putting you on their horses, and letting you learn all about it. I have never met people more in love with their horse.
They do love their horses very much, and the breed and the history behind it, it's huge for those people. It's in their blood.
It really is.
It is,
It's
for
absolutely
sure.
phenomenal.
Yep.
Derby special. Don't forget that we are coming up with our Derby special. Very, very soon. It's going to be airing the week before the Kentucky Derby, and we will be covering those local connections to the 2024 Kentucky Derby. We'll be bringing you all the great stories. Quite often, 2/3 of the horses in the starting gate there for the Derby are trained right here in Marion County, and we're going to bring you that information. Stay with us. We're coming back with Dr. Adam Kayott and Itchy Skin. We'll be right back.
Gotcha.
This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors, DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC. It makes a world of difference.
Equestrian. It's not just a word but a title. It comes paired with hard work, discipline, and talent. LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Introducing the Hoofling system, powered by LipChip, where a microchip becomes a secure key to unlock temperature, register for your next event, and keep track of required documents. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now. Broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
That's not Pete, but you did do it well.
I'm trying, Pete.
Dancing Pete Roda is out today, and Betsy is here from Larson Hay to fill in for him. Big shoes to fill, right?
Oh my gosh. I don't have a hat. I don't say Yahoo or woohoo. Woohoo, Pete. There's one for you, my friend.
There you go.
Woohoo.
We are going to share with you, coming up here in this segment, Dr. Adam Kayott from Peterson Smith, Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and he is talking about something that I actually had to deal with for 29 years, bless him, with my dear horse Sonny, who constantly struggled, and actually up until I think the time I got him on some CBD, I think he really did struggle, but unfortunately, Flynn seems to have adopted the same itchiness.
No.
Yes, and he's rubbing himself on trees and all that kind of thing.
Oh my gosh.
I know it's a fly
Problem.
spray is obviously very helpful, and fly masks can be very helpful as well. But Dr. Kayott is going to talk to us a little bit about some other things that you can do.
Well, good. Let's hear.
Yeah, and you know we're coming up on those summer months now, so it's only going to increase.
The
if you're
itch.
having itchy already, you've got more to come.
It's the real thing.
It is the real thing. It's Florida. And you know, I'm just
is.
going to say this. I think horses that come from other places, especially much drier states out west, like Flynn from Nevada,
Right.
they struggle, I think, more than
More.
Florida horses
Yes.
that are kind of Florida breds, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe the same with people, because I'm not a Florida bred and they like to bite me too. So.
Oh my.
Oh my. Anyway, here's Dr. Adam Kayott. We hope you enjoy this and get lots of information to help. Louisa Martin here with the Horse Talk Show, and Dr. Adam Kayott is here with us from Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. And since we're coming into the hotter months, thankfully we're still having some very nice weather, Dr. Kayott, but we are headed towards the summer, and we are heading towards bugs, of course, and skin issues in horses tend to be prevalent at that time of year, and I think Florida certainly gets its big dose of that at this time. So, Dr. Kayott, tell us about some of the skin things that people are going to start seeing and how we can address those.
Well, the main thing that you start seeing this time of year is just a dermatitis, just an inflammation of the skin. Your horse starts to itch, they'll itch, and then they'll scratch. A lot of times, typically they'll scratch on their face, their ears, they scratch their mane. A lot of times they'll rub their tails, and a lot of times they'll rub their underbelly. They'll lay down actually and like try to scoot across the ground. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, that's due to allergens. The one thing we get down here are the little black flies, the little coulicoides, the no-see-ums we call them. And so,
What did you call them?
no-see-ums,
No, before that.
coulicoides.
I never heard them called that before.
Yep, that's the scientific name for them. But we call them no-see-ums because you don't see them, and they bite. They're little biting midges kind of things, and so they come out at night typically, and they'll bite horses on their chest, on their midline, get in their ears, and that sort of thing. And they tend to the allergic response is an itch to it. So a lot of times, what we suggest for those people is to put them in a stall at night and turn a fan on them, because the little flies have a hard time flying when the wind's blowing, so they have a harder time dealing with that. So that's a strategy. Certainly steroids and like Zyrtec will help you with that. A lot of times I'll start with Zyrtec. Antihistamine, that was the word I was trying to come up with. Antihistamine like Zyrtec will help. A lot of times I'll start with that, and then if that doesn't seem to be knocking it out, then we typically put them on a steroid. We have a pretty good program now where we can test them for allergies and develop an injection process that's it helps. It definitely helps. So we pull blood on the horse, and they look at everything. Basically, gives everything that they're allergic to. You'd be amazed at how many horses are allergic to like oats and grasses that they eat, like they're eating, and stuff that are in their environment, like cockroach feces and things like that you can't get rid of in a barn, And so it'll come up with all these things, and then they devise this shot protocol, so an injection protocol, where they're slowly introducing those allergens to the horse's system so that they improve their response, and their response isn't as drastic. So you get less itching, you get less discomfort, and you get less irritation. So
kind of like you do for people, so you actually kind of really know.
Basically, it's allergy shots, right? Exactly.
And then also, if it's something that's avoidable. If it is a hay or a
exactly.
feed, then,
Yep.
right.
Yep. I mean, there's so many that have been allergic to like flax and flaxseed, and they're getting fed that, and all this stuff. So you'd be kind of surprised. But my point is that typically when you see that reaction in the summer months, it's due to insects, but it can be other things.
Environmental.
It can be other environmental things. Certainly molds that are in the air, fungi that are in the air here in a subtropical climate. You're going to have all that stuff, and pollens and things like that. So allergies are allergies. You can't get rid of them. You're always going to have some response. You just try to mitigate how severe the response is. I mean, some of these horses become miserable. They'll self-mutilate because they're scratching so hard that they'll actually have wounds on on their skin.
Flynn actually has trees that he has a major rub fest on. Yes.
So yeah, they'll find anything to scratch on. Trees and logs that are down and fence boards. You'll see them out there breaking your fence board, scratching their butt against it.
Yes. Yes.
So it can be a real problem, real expense. So you try to control that as best you can.
And then you do steroids as well for some.
Yeah, typically if it's not, if the antihistamines aren't doing the trick, then we'll add steroids. And unfortunately, they have to be on it typically throughout the hot months of the year. You try to get them on as low a dose as keeps them comfortable. So that varies per horse. Obviously, there are some side effects with steroids, but typically, if you're diligent and careful with it, the side effects aren't as bad as them, scratching their ears off.
And the Zyrtec is just, you get the people version or one of those?
Just get the people's version. Just over the counter stuff. Basically, it's 1 pill per 100 pounds once a day.
Okay, so Flynn gets a lot.
Yeah.
It's a big chunky monkey.
yeah.
And then some other real basic things that you can do. I got a Fly Master fly spray system from
Oh, yeah.
Piranha, which definitely helps. Obviously using fly spray helps. Someone's feeling good. And then of course fly masks and fly blankets, definitely will help.
Yeah.
Mitigate some of that as well. So there's some basic things you can do, but definitely start with your veterinarian and maybe get that blood work done so you can kind of find out what those
it
things
helps.
are. Because
Yep, it helps.
environment is big.
It's
I
huge.
didn't know about that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I might want that. I'm afraid of what he might be allergic to. It might be Florida
Yeah.
because he's from Nevada,
Lot of them are.
so
Yeah.
out west.
Yeah.
And I find that a lot too with horses that come from
Oh,
other
yeah.
states. It's much worse,
Especially if
right?
it's a drier state like
Yeah.
out west or
Yeah,
up
that
north
makes-
or whatever.
He's a Nevada Mustang, so.
Yeah.
Skin issues, itchiness, and all of that, definitely something we face here in Florida summer, but you can reach out to Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. You might get Dr. Adam Kayott. Come take care of you. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch.
Faulty wiring is the leading cause of barn fires. I'm Pat with Pat Myers Electric. Equine facilities have special electrical needs. The knowledgeable and licensed team of electricians at Pat Myers Electric will ensure that you can achieve your vision for a beautiful, safe, and functional horse facility. From new construction to rewiring and updating, the Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. With a small farm of our own, we truly understand the unique concerns of the horse owner. Don't take chances. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, Piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the third segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
We're missing Dancing Pete this week. We have Betsy from Larson Hay in here filling in for him. Very grateful to Betsy. And Pete, we miss you, but she's doing an awesome job. And we have a very, very special guest here in the studio with us, Jessica Braswell. Jessica, we have the NCEA logo behind us because we are going to chat about that, but you are with Auburn University.
I am. I'm the head coach for Auburn in my 13th season there. First as the head coach, but 13th season coaching, and we are in Ocala this week for the NCEA National Championship. So the NCEA hosts the championship for NCAA equestrian, so we're really excited to be here.
That's fantastic, and the WEC is an amazing facility, of course, to have a competition at. So
it's incredible. I did something earlier today talking about how it's just such a stage for our student athletes, and one of the nicest facilities in the world, I'd say.
Oh yes.
And so for them to have an opportunity to compete at a place like that, especially on that stage and for the national championship, we're really lucky and excited to be here.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Well,
so
we welcome you here
yes,
to
we
Ocala.
do.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
In horse country.
Yes, you are.
You couldn't be in a better spot.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how the NCEA works and how I know that there's like a draw for a horse, right? And you're riding the horse for the first time.
Yeah, so there'll be about 115 horses at the championship this week, and it's a bracketed style championship. So it'll be one school against the other head to head. And we have 2 disciplines. So we have jumping seat and Western, and then we ride in 4 events. So for Western, it's going to be horsemanship and reining. And then for the jumping seat, be fences and flat. And there'll be 5 rides in each event, so 20 points for the whole meet, team versus team. And so there's a horse that's drawn, then a rider from each competing team will ride the same horse. They'll each get a score from our set of judges, and then whoever has the highest average score will get a point from their team. So at the end of the day, there's 20 points to be had, and whoever gets to 11 first will be your winner, and your winners will move on to the next round in the bracket, and then it finishes up with the championship rounds on Saturday.
Golly.
Now, how many teams
I was going to,
compete?
that's a great question.
Yeah,
I was
how
going
many-
to
I
ask
mean,
that.
So we're all on the same page. How many
So invited to the championship, we have 8 dual discipline teams. So those are going to be your teams that are competing in jumping seat and Western. And then we have 4 single discipline teams. So those are only competing in jumping seat. So 12 different teams total are here. And so we'll award 2 championships by the end of the week. So there'll be a dual discipline champion and a single discipline champion.
Wow,
That's
how
a
awesome.
prestigious event, and to win and to bring that back home to your home college, yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A national championship is a huge accomplishment, and there'll be 2 very excited and very proud teams at the end of the week. And it'll be huge for whatever 2 universities it is.
That's amazing. And so these universities are all over the country?
Yeah, from all over the place. So the 8 teams competing this week in dual discipline, TCU, SMU, Auburn, Texas A&M, Georgia, Oklahoma State, South Carolina, and UC Davis. So all coasts. And then in single discipline, Lynchburg, Sweetbriar, Swanee, and Dartmouth. So schools from all over the country.
Wow, that's
amazing.
Very large undertaking and expense too.
It's, we've done a great job with the championship. A lot of people working to help raise sponsorships and raise dollars for that, and make it something that we can do, and working with the World Equestrian Center and making sure it's a great event and encourage people to come out. It is free to the public to come watch, so to come out and watch it and support these guys.
I think
Cheer
that's
on your
fantastic.
favorite team.
It's a different environment. If you've been to horse shows, it doesn't look like a horse show. It looks like a collegiate athletics event. And there's a lot of cheering, a lot of, school cheers
so
and
it's
school
fun.
spirit. Oh, yeah, and shakers and face painting
Oh.
and lots of excitement. So it's definitely worth coming to see, especially on that Saturday. the
Make sure
championship
you all
Saturday.
come out to WAC and enjoy that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the 20th Saturday, this Saturday coming. So if you're listening on the radio, you still got time to get there. And if you're listening on Facebook, then hey, get your plans in order now, because Saturday's the big day.
Saturday's the big day. Yeah. Thursday we'll do the dual discipline quarterfinals. So we start a session at 8:30 and a session at 2. And we're in Arena 5 and Arena 3 at WEC. It's
Awesome.
a really large facility. So
It is.
those are the 2 arenas we're in. And then Friday we start at 9 and then again at 2:30. And then Saturday the single discipline championship is at 9 and dual discipline starts at 10. So it'll be
There's a lot
Saturday.
going on.
A lot going on. It's a huge undertaking. We've got incredible staff within CEA, a championship manager that are running the event, and all the schools participating, helping make sure we get horses there and things
Right.
like that.
And then the horses come from the closer states.
Yeah, so the horses, I think we have 8-ish schools providing horses. this year. So Auburn and Georgia bring the most. We each brought about 22, I think. And then Texas schools bring about 12-ish, Oklahoma State 12-ish.
Oh my, look at that rain and horse stuff.
That's beautiful.
And then Sweetbriar and Lynchburg brought some horses this year too. So it'll be a lot of fun.
And so just to reiterate, because I think this is amazing, the rider gets on the horse for the first time for this competition.
They do. So it'll be the first time that they've ridden the horse. They get to warm up for 4 minutes. 4 minutes outside of the arena.
Oh boy.
So they're not limited in their maneuvers in reining, horsemanship, and flat. And then in the jumping, they get to jump 4 jumps in their 4 minutes. There's a vertical and an oxer set in the warm-up arena. So these guys have to be adaptable. They have a lot of skill. They ride really, really well, and it should be a great competition. Your best 8 and 4 teams in the country going head to head at one of the best venues in the world.
You can't beat that.
No, it takes a lot of preparation. I can imagine getting these students on so many different horses so that they can do well when they come to a competition like this. It must be a lot of
There's a lot of
work
training involved.
and training leading up to this.
Yeah, it's similar to what they do all year. So in the regular season, we're still riding. When we travel to a school, we're riding the home school's horses. So the greatest thing about the postseason is since we all bring all these horses, it becomes a neutral horse field. So during the regular season, if Auburn's playing Georgia, say, and we go to Georgia, we're riding Georgia horses, they come to us, they're riding Auburn horses. Well, if we end up playing them at the championship, we won't ride Auburn or Georgia horses. So it really gives you that neutral horse effect.
Yeah.
And it really lets it be rider against rider, not who knows the horse better or things like that. So they get a lot of preparation, though, during the regular season when we go on the road and they ride horses they don't know. So they're well versed in the getting on and going and having to be adaptable.
Jessica, this is amazing.
Great horsemen
Yes,
and
we
horsewomen.
have a little gift for you. We have a very nice Piranha bag with goodies, and then we have a logoed dandy brush for you you can travel around the country, take pictures and tag us with this
That's
in it. We
awesome.
love that.
Thank you so much.
I think this is such an incredible thing to have here in the horse capital. We're so thankful that NCEA has chosen this area. So thankful to WEC, World Equestrian Center here in Ocala, for being here just to provide such a great venue for you guys. But to have you all come here is amazing. Horses, people, it's fantastic.
Well, thank you. We're so lucky to be here. It's been great. This is year 3 at World Equestrian Center, and it's gotten better and better every year. So we're really grateful to them for hosting us and being able to be there and put our student athletes and our horses on that stage.
Right.
And it's fun, too, because both of those arenas, they'll be packed on Saturday. And you really get that feel.
I heard them cheering last time, and it was so exciting. I was like, who do I cheer for?
You can hear a pen drop, and then it just erupts when everything's over.
It's phenomenal.
So we're happy to be in Ocala and happy to be at the World Equestrian Center.
Thank you so much. Jessica Braswell, she joined us today and filled us in on all this. It's exciting. Get to World Equestrian Center and watch some of this. Louisa Barton, we'll be back with Chris Cox. Stay with us. Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Hey there, horsemen. Are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? LipChip is ready to revolutionize your barn. Built by horsemen, for horsemen. LipChip knows how you ride. If you're tired of carrying around paperwork, dealing with long trailer lines, and juggling all your horse's details while trying to compete, then the answer is the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Each scan reveals everything you need to work, compete, and to protect your horses. View current health paperwork, pre-register for your next event, and even check in on your horse's health. Horsemen, let's keep our horses safe and make our lives at the barn a little easier. The future is here, and the future is LipChip. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddak.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Centre, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centres for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specialising in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com. or find them on social media.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that can talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton! She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Brought to you by the Equine Initiative, presented by Piranha, the Horse Talk Show, and Larson Hay. Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television with my co-host and friend, Dancing Pete Rhoda. And we have an incredible honor of talking to one of the finest horsemen in the world, and that is Chris Cox. Chris was actually born in Kissimmee, Florida, but was soon moved off to an island in Australia, right?
Australia, yes ma'am.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
I know you've had a busy day with a clinic here in Lady Lake, and getting to watch some of that, and you chatting to some of the participants was great. It was fantastic to see you in action. Yeah. And great to have you back in Florida.
Thanks. I tell you what, the weather is unbelievable. I know they said it was cold last week, but yeah, it's been in the single digits where I'm from.
Yeah.
So this is pretty special. So,
pretty special, yeah. So I read something that I loved, and that was that as a kid, you were homeschooled very young, and then in second grade, you actually rode horses to catch a boat to school. Tell us about that. I love those kind of stories.
We did, yeah. My dad, bless his heart, he was kind of a pioneer, and he went over there and took his family, and we settled on this island and ran cattle on it. And so the boat we went up on there on, he made as a school boat, and 3 miles away was an island called Thursday Island, which is at the top of Australia, below New Guinea. And Thursday Island wasn't a very big island, but it had a big harbor on it, and it had a hospital, and it had a school. And so we'd take that boat over, and some of the island kids that lived on our island, Prince of Wales Island, would jump on the boat and go with us. So we ran that for years, and I hear it's still running today. So yeah,
really?
Yeah, after 50-something years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you grew up around horses and cattle?
Did, yes. Yeah, I didn't really have a choice, and I didn't realize how important it was until I left home. You know, it's kind of like you don't know what you got until you leave it, kind of thing, you know. And I didn't think I'd make a living with horses because, you know, everybody rode their own horses. You trained your own horse. It was just kind of a lifestyle. You shod your own horse. And then coming over here, a lot of people do it as a pleasure, as a hobby, as something that they do on the side. And folks get into it late in life. And you know yourself, when you get into something late in life, you don't have the knowledge or the skills unless you grew up with it.
Right.
And it's such a passion that we want to share, and I know you do the same thing, Pete, is you teach people, you know, the basics of how to communicate to a horse, the leadership qualities of it, the feel, the timing, everything goes along with it, and it changes people's lives. It's a documented fact that you can go to as many psychologists, you know, whether you're an Army veteran or anybody, And the horse will change your life more than anybody if you listen to him, because it shows a mirror of ourselves, and we have to change ourselves. As a human, we start looking at other things. Who can I blame? You know, it's just a blame game, right? You did this, you did that, oh, they did that. Well, with a horse, you got to say, hey, it's me. I've got to change for my horse to be better.
Gosh, you are so spot on. We just spent some time with my Mustang, and we were just talking about mirror, about that very thing with him and how we do that, you know, and you're right, the blame game is everybody's favorite thing to do, right? But what are you doing that's affecting your horse? And the leadership, let's talk about leadership, because actually we were talking about that this morning, how important that is. And something that we've been really focused on lately with the show is making a horse feel safe, and how that's so important.
You know, to me, I've quit teaching giving. I'm teaching relaxing. A lot of horses can give but not relax. The relax is a piece. And the relax is where their mind goes, and then their body follows. There's a lot of people that get their body to go, but their mind is not with their body, which means they don't want to be there, right?
Right.
It's kind of like a lot of folks, a lot of people, millions of people today go to work and don't want to be there. And it's sad, right?
You don't have that problem.
I don't have that problem. There's some places I go to that's awful tough, but you know, I want to have a partnership. I want it to be, and I'm willing to work harder than most people because it's a passion. And I say to folks all the time that are trying to find out what their future in life is, or their direction in life with these kids. They go and they change their major so many times they don't know what they want to do. It's pretty simple. What do you love to do? What is your passion?
Yes, sir.
If it's your passion, you'll work harder than anybody else. When you work harder than anybody else, you become one of the best. And when you become one of the best, money comes.
Ooh, you're so spot on
But
there
if you
too.
go after money,
Yes.
you'll never be happy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful.
That's really true.
So one of the things that when I first met you at Road to the Horse, you were a class act.
Thank
you. I was passionate of watching you because it wasn't about the other competitors, it was about you and that horse. So talk a little bit about how, because we talked a little earlier about different clinicians and all this, and you said some powerful words about it, which helps me because it takes an ego to get yourself out there into an arena, but it also, you have to be careful with it. So tell us a little about how you view other clinicians and things like that.
Well, I'm not going to tell you how I view other clinicians because that's not my purpose, right? It's not my purpose in telling you whether I like this person or I don't like this person. But I will tell you there's a lot of great people out there. And I don't teach the way they teach necessarily. I've learned, and I've done a lot of things wrong, but what's changed my life is I quit training horses. I started training myself. When I started training myself, things became better. I started becoming more humble. I started realizing that things were me, and I quit calling myself a professional or an expert because I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. I'm not a master horseman. A master horseman has mastered it. I've never mastered horsemanship. I'm continually learning, and I continually pick up things from horses, from people, and that's what helps me grow in my horsemanship, grow. And I tell people that I'm always a student of the horse. I'm not a professional. And what that does for me, Pete, it keeps my door open for information. And once you start confessing to others that you're the best, or you're the best at what you do, or you're a professional, or you're a master,
or you're the only one who knows.
You're the only one that knows, and you invented this. You start closing the door, and the ego starts coming inside, and you start believing that everything you do is the best. It's not. There's so many ways to communicate to a horse. There's so many ways to skin a cat. And I leave my options open. And the more I've been humbled, the more I learn. And so that's what's changed my life. And I continually learning. I continually grow. I compete in a lot of different things. I look at a lot of different things. There's some things that I don't like out there that I see, but I evaluate them in my mind. And if there's something I can pick up out of it, that I'll never want to do or I never want to see, I add it to my inventory. But I think that there's so many people become almost in a cult-like nature that they don't open themselves up to what's going on.
I agree. I think that you can learn a lot of different things from a lot of different people. You can maybe come up with your own idea, as Pete has, your own routine that you do, which is great, and you can own it. But I think you can learn so much from each person just by listening. I mean, just the amount of time I spent today listening to you, I picked up on a lot of things that I've heard before, and then some new things, and watched everybody interacting, and you can learn. You can learn in listening to as many knowledgeable people as possible. I think it's is wonderful. You might find one you love the most and follow the most, which is great, but if you don't listen to all of them, how are you going to find out who you like anyway? So I think it's a great way to learn.
And once again, class act answer. I mean,
thank you. I tell you, I'm far from a class act, but I'm trying to be better. The thing about it is with the ego, people don't realize is the horse suffers. The horse suffers. And not just people, but the horse does, right? So, and I have learned a lot from people disciplining me at clinics. I've listened to them. I listened to their complaints. I've listened to their needs. Now, all of them probably wasn't right, but I listened to them. I listen to horses, and I digest and I take away what I can to make it better. And so that's why I think I've become a better teacher, is that, you know what, it may not all be right, but I'm going to listen, and I'm going to take something away from it.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Stephen at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
This is Charlotte Cannon, and you are listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Brought to you by the Equine Initiative, presented by Piranha, the Horse Talk Show, and Larson Hay. Did you always think you were going to do this, or did you think you were going to do something else when you left school?
I didn't think I was going to be a clinician. I was going to be a world champion bull rider. But I had a really bad accident and almost lost my arm, and as when I was 16 years old. But I rode horses, but here's the thing: I come over here. I trained horses, but then they took them home, and they screwed them up, and then they brought them back to me, and I said, one day I'm going to own all of my own horses. So that's how I started doing clinics. Now, I was around people when I was real young that did clinics. I was fortunate enough to be around a great horseman called Ken May that we lost last year in Australia. And I was around a few people, and so I had some mentorship that I give credit to for that, and for teachers, you know. And so that inspired me to do more. Yeah. And, you know, the older you get, I tell you, I help enough people get what they want. I have everything I want. I love people getting results and achieving their dreams. And now it's my kids and my family.
I was going to ask you that now.
Yeah.
I saw your kids out there. We're doing such a great job. I saw your son on a horse and your daughter out there dancing, having a good time.
You know, and I tell people they're learning here. I'm not micromanaging them at home, because the one thing that people do with kids is they give them too much instruction. They won't show up at the barn. Too much. It's not fun. I've let them have fun. I let them rope. I let them work cattle. I let them barrel race. Now they're 14, 15 years old. Now they're starting to want to know the more details. And that's where it's fun. So today was fun.
And they picked up details by watching you and mimicking you that they don't realize. Because I see kids that grew up with my mentors that are like, how are you doing that?
But it's easy to burn them out.
Oh, yes. Sir.
You know, like giving a colt too much information too quick. Mm-hmm. It's easy to burn them out. And it's not about how young, it's about how they're ready to accept it, you know. So.
Now, there's something that I've been around horses since before I could walk, and grew up in England and rode some crazy ponies that I wish I had known the things I know now. Then it would have been a whole different, I think I would have hit the ground a lot less. But it really been talking a lot and thinking a lot about energy, and you mentioned it today during this clinic, and it this morning, I think my experience with my Mustang actually even brought that more home to me than ever. Is the energy between you and your horse is just, it's a huge piece of the puzzle.
Well, I believe that's where healing comes in, right?
Exactly.
With our veterans, with our handicap.
Yes.
That's where healing comes in, because these horses feel that. They pick up on it. And the thing about it is, what people don't realize is the horses have been around for thousands of years, and they read body language. So they communicate through body language, not through sound. Now, they'll make some sounds, but it's through body language. And if you ever see a group together, it's all body language. And so they read the human so well. And we as a human actually rely off voice more than we do body language. But if you're around people, you read people and you watch them, you watch their mannerisms. And it's the same way with a horse. A horse is always watching us. And that's how they've survived, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, they're so good at it. Mm-hmm. And we don't take that serious enough.
I know, you're absolutely right about that. And you were talking about like barn sour or buddy sour horses, you know, and how if you're not the leader, they're looking for another herd member to glue themselves to, so they feel safe. And that makes so much sense. I mean, these things that almost seem like common sense when I say them, but sometimes you got to hear them and experience them to know how important they really are.
Well, that's right. You know, when people have a misunderstanding for leadership to be forceful, no, leadership is knowledge. Leadership is confidence. Mm-hmm. That's what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Right, so. Well, you know, you say that, and for the first time in my life, for the last 7.5 years, I have worked for a team at the chamber where we are not micromanaged. We are given a plan of work, and most of us do more than our plan of work. Most of us do extra, but we aren't micromanaged, and we're actually trusted to get it done, and we all get it done plus because but he hires people that he trusts and believes in to do the job. So
He allows you to do your job.
yes, he does.
Yes.
And we do it well because we even do things sometimes that aren't in our plan of work that help our plan of work because we want to, because we work for somebody who gives us enough reign to either hang ourselves or be incredible, one or the other, you know. And if you hang yourself, obviously, then you're done with the job, right? So, but we don't. We all work harder for him.
Pretty well said, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And I work harder for him. I've always worked hard all my life, but I work harder for him than I've ever worked for anybody else because I so appreciate the fact that he gives me room to grow, room to be creative, room to come up with ideas that are things that I think we should do. So
let's stop there. Let's turn you into the horse and your boss into the human. That's my goal. For that horse wants to work hard for me, wants to please me. Okay, so that's the whole relationship that we set up. That we want their mind, we want them to be relaxed. We want them to be proud of you. We want them to come up and say, great job, and you're working for that, right? But he allows you to make mistakes, see? He doesn't tell you what to do, he allows you to do it, and then he helps you if you need it, to guide you along. So that's pretty special.
I love that, and I think that's so important.
Yep.
So what would you give to someone like me or someone coming up in the industry that will have the passion to go out there and teach? What would be something you would tell them to help them on their way, to help these horses get more relaxed and these people get more connected?
Well, one of the things is, I think you brought up a good point, Pete, is that I still work on my horsemanship, and I work on it, but the toughest has been becoming a good teacher. And I still work on that. And I've really concentrated it on the last 10 years. The last 5 especially. The people that have gone to my clinics for 20, 30 years, they've seen a big change in me and my communication. It needed to be done. What happens was I was trying harder than them and I was pushing them too hard. You can't do that. And so what I do is I incentivize them to get them to try and reward them. And I set it up for it to be easier for them. Be simple for them to understand. I realize that a lot of people don't learn the same way, and that's what we got wrong in our school systems today, is that one teacher teaches the same way. Well, that one teacher only communicates to probably 15% to 20% of that classroom that they get it. So what I've learned to do with a horse and the human, when I'm teaching something, I will teach it one way, then I will turn it at a different angle and talk about it from this angle. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I get that. And then I'll demonstrate it. And then I'll talk about it, and I'll ask them questions, then I'll demonstrate it another way. So I've learned to be able to take this subject and turn it around a little bit and not just go at it directly, because we all learn differently. We all have this ADD, dyslexic, this all kinds of crazy stuff.
On the spectrum stuff, yes.
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
we don't, but the geniuses, the ones that are genius, sometimes need to tank. My son has one of the greatest memories of anybody been around. He's dyslexic. He's the smartest kid I've ever known for thinking about stuff. So he needs to be going at a different angle. I've realized that horses and people are the same.
Oh, yes.
You've got to twist that a little bit and talk about it from a different angle. If you have a certain message, drill, you're only going to get a few people. You're only going to get a few horses.
Yeah,
But
you're
if you
so
want
right.
Everybody, you've got to be able to change your message a little bit.
Yeah, I saw Pete do his blocks with his horse, and rather, I tried to do Pete's blocks with his horse, and I don't think I learned anything. I watched him do his blocks with my horse. That's how I learn. I got to watch it.
Sure.
If I do it, I'm way too ADHD to learn and do it myself. So, yeah.
Well, I'm a big believer. First of all, it's got to make sense.
Yeah.
You got to understand it. And if it doesn't make sense, you can't understand it, you can't see it, you can't do it. If it makes sense, you understand it, it has a purpose behind it, right? There's a purpose why we're doing this. So when we go to do it, we're not like, I don't know if I'm screwing my horse up. I don't know if those people are that way in and out. They don't know because they don't understand why. Once you understand why, you have a purpose. You might get it wrong, but at least you're going to keep going and you'll get it better and better and better. I'm still working on getting things better, even at the beginning stuff. getting it better, refining it, right?
Right.
A lot of people have a misunderstanding about the first steps, the basics. The basics can go a long way.
Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms. They are our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton in the studio with Betsy from Larson Hay, who is filling in for Dancing Pete Roeder this week, who is out. We miss you, Pete, but she has big shoes to fill, but she's done it very well. We were at the most wonderful celebration of 90 years for Seminole Feed Stores. And I just want to say the chance to meet Julio Mendoza, who is going to the Olympics, was phenomenal. And getting a chance to chat to this gentleman who uses the Dynasport feed and can't say enough about the harmony that it helps. And, you know, he talks a lot about tummies. You know, he mentions that your horse's stomach is so very important. And he likes to create harmony between the horse and rider. And he talks about how important his relationship with Seminole Feed Stores is. He talks about how he loves his home country of Ecuador and his family.
Of course. And as we all know, happy horses are going to perform well. And if he cares that much and understands his horse to keep it happy enough to win at the levels and the hauling, all the things that horse has to go through, the different levels, the hauling, the arenas. Now that horse is going to go to the Olympics, and how much that he's going to care for that horse and feed it correctly. Feed it correctly to keep it happy and healthy through all this stressful competition.
It really is. And I have a lot of people tell me they love the Dynasport for those sport horses, that it really makes a difference.
Seminole's in business 90 years for a reason. They are in business for a reason.
You are so right, Betsy.
90 years.
Yes, that was an amazing chance to chat to him. I wish we could air it, but unfortunately we had some sound issues that day. But I will tell you, he talks about his home country. He talks about coming from very little and coming up. Being in America, being successful in the horse world. He talks about how he loves his family, how he does this for his wife and children. I love this guy's demeanor, his personality, just the way he is around people. Everything he said just resounded with me, and I just was so excited for him. Not only that he won at World Equestrian Center the night before, but then also just the fact that he's going to the Olympics is such a huge thing, and his excitement about that, and his excitement about his relationship with his horse.
He's a very humble man.
He is.
He's a very humble man, and you know the passion he feels if you were able to hear his words, and unfortunately we're not able to, but the passion that he feels for his horse and how much he cares for that horse. And for him to be winning at this level, he says, I want to pinch myself.
That's right.
He says,
That's
I want
right.
to pinch
And
myself. I
pinched him.
can't even
Yes.
believe it.
I know,
Yeah.
it's so great.
Yeah.
So Julio Mendoza, look out for him, a top dressage rider. Look out for him at the Olympics. I'd love to see him win there too, and very, very excited for him. So
Jules Goldstrike.
Yes, amazing story, fantastic. So we are going to do a shout out for Gentle Carousel miniature therapy horses. I love it when Debbie and George take these photos and send them to me. Their horses and literacy program in the schools is just amazing, and they took Circus and the Wonderful Kindness book, and these little girls told them that they wore their cowboy boots specially for this program. So hats off to Gentle Carousel miniature therapy horses, always doing such a phenomenal program that they have, and I love to see these kids smiling. So
Yes.
yes,
And you can see how
Look
much
at that.
Circus loves
Yes.
those kids. Look at those smiles.
And a mention too for the FTBOA Gala last night, which was wonderful. Wonderful experience to have the fantastic Tom DeSillo, National Sales Manager for Piranha, with his beautiful wife, Lori, and also to have our newer mayor. He's newer.
Yes.
He's not new anymore, but he's newer, Ben Marciano and his wife, and of course Kevin Sheely and Tamara Fleischacker being there, all of us together, and Kevin's wife, and then of course our chair at the CEP, and we just had a phenomenal time celebrating so many wonderful local connections to our racehorses. It was fantastic to see Bo Yates up there on the stage.
There's my buddy Bo.
Yep, it was lovely to see him last year at the Oaks with Dorth Vader, to see Dorth Vader up there winning the 3-year-old filly, and of course Gail Woods, who put that starting training that's so important. So we loved being able to celebrate these fantastic local connections and Florida breds to the greatest races in the country. So seeing them get their awards was absolutely fantastic. Now Horse Talk Show kind of has to switch over here and go to the dogs. So here's Neil.
The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch. If you like to train your dog with treats, then use various grades of treats, starting with like kibble and working your way up to a nice cut of steak. Use small pieces. You don't have to give them like an inch square. You can give them like less than a quarter of an inch cube. They just love the taste and they'll work for you. And also, don't feed them before you train. Have them work with you with a hungry tummy. Neil with Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil. My dogs will be going there to stay with him soon, and they'll be so excited I won't be able to contain them. He was chatting about different grades of treats, you know. Of course, Pete would probably say don't give him any treats.
He would.
But he's not here.
Mine are learning to love carrots.
My dogs love carrots.
They too love carrots.
They're
and
probably
bananas.
very good for them too, actually.
Yeah.
I would say, yes. So we are going to do a last call here on number 10. We have been working our way through Charlotte Cannon's Hacks to Relax, and we are on number 10. Live, learn, play, and work where you feel safe. And I want to say the word safe, you know, there's a book, The 5 Love Languages, and I think the 6th love language should be feeling safe, because horses need to feel safe. People need to feel safe. I love number 10 because you live, learn, play, and work where you feel safe. And when you feel safe, everything is okay.
It comes together.
Yes.
It all comes together.
And I go back to my Mustang and the amazing relationship I have with him and the wonderful time we have on the beach and the trail, because he feels safe with me.
You can
It's the
feel
most important
secure
thing.
and calm and
Yeah.
enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not worried and pressured.
And if you don't feel safe, you don't feel loved, you don't enjoy yourself, you don't enjoy living, learning, playing, and working. So Charlotte Cannon, the Cannon Method. I love Charlotte Cannon. She is an amazing woman, and these are her 10 hacks to relax. So there you go. We did all 10 of them.
Yep.
We made our way through it. Well, it's been an incredible show. I'm so thankful to Betsy for being here with us today and filling in for Pete. Pete will be back next week, of course, and back healthy and fit. He's in our prayers and thoughts for feeling better. I just want to say thank you to our wonderful guests. Make sure you check out all these phenomenal events. I know there's a lot to choose from.
There's a lot going on this weekend
There
and the
is
next
indeed.
weekend.
There is indeed. And
Go,
don't
go,
forget
go.
our Kentucky Derby coverage coming soon. It's an additional broadcast. Don't forget that we will be bringing you all of those local connections to the 2024 two most exciting minutes in sports, so make sure you look out for that. It'll also be broadcasting on the Equus Television Network. And I thank you all for joining us this week, whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world, or not. Happy horsing around until the same time next week.